Many people often put so much focus, attention, and even pressure on what they eat. And in doing so, they try to eat perfectly, which often means that they are avoiding certain types of foods that they kind of consider to be bad or off limits. Do you do this? Now, I would just want to share, it's completely understandable if you do. There's so much focus on what to eat in the nutrition industry, so it makes sense if you're focusing so much on what to eat. While it's absolutely important to know how to nourish yourself well and get the nutrients your body needs to feel and function its best, that alone will not help you create healthy eating habits that you can maintain for 365 days a year. If it did, then no one would ever struggle with eating well on a daily basis. There would be no diets and no trends out there. Everyone would simply know exactly what to eat and eat perfectly 100% of the time, right? But of course, we've all experienced that this is not the case. There is no truth in that. Even when you know what to eat to nourish your body, to feel great, it can be really challenging to maintain it when there are so many other factors that play a role into our eating habits and our eating behaviors. If you're putting too much emphasis on eating perfectly, it can keep you in that whole start and stop cycle of dieting or those trends. And this cycle means that you're able to eat well for a certain amount of time, but then you fall off the bandwagon, right? That's what I hear so often. Whenever something might influence your food choices, like environmental cues, so for example, like you go out to eat, you might be celebrating the holidays, you might be feeling really stressed or bored or happy or anxious, you might have your regular routine be thrown off by some external circumstance, or be tempted to enjoy a treat at the office, or you might be getting bored of the same meals every week, or not having enough time to cook after work. And the list goes on and on and on and on. I'm sure you can think of one or even two things or even three things that you've experienced that have prevented you from really sticking with your healthy eating habits, right? I know you're not alone. We've all been there, myself included, and also thousands of my clients that I've worked with. And that's why it's so important to give equal attention to how you're eating. The how of what you're eating side of things is all about learning how to navigate the other factors that influence your food choices. And we do this by practicing mindful eating. Slowing down and bringing more mindful awareness to what you're eating and how you're feeling before you eat, during you eat, and after meals is one of the best practices that you can have for finding what works for you and for creating healthy eating habits for life. And the best part is that this type of practice helps you practice balance so that you can really enjoy all foods without feeling out of control or without overeating them. So if this sounds like where you want to be and what you want to be experiencing with your life, then here are a few tips to get you to that place with more mindful eating practices that you can use so that you're creating more intentional balance with all of your eating habits, and it'll also make it possible for you to eat well on a daily basis. My first tip for you is to check in with yourself before, during, and after meals. Before and after eating, I just want you to stop and ask yourself, how do I feel? Determine if you're hungry or you're full, relaxed or stressed or emotional. By doing this, you can also determine why is it that you're feeling that way and what are you eating? And ideally, we're only eating when we're hungry, but this isn't always the case. We're complex human beings. By practicing this self-check-in, over time, you can become way more self-aware. You can also better understand your relationship with food, which is so unique for all of us. You can start to develop the habit of being mindful of your food choices, of your eating habits. And the next thing that I want you to do is remove all distractions. Mealtime distractions can quickly take away all of the mindfulness of your eating experience. So take some time to actively think about all of the distractions you generally have while eating. So for most of us, this is going to be our phone or the TV or even at work when you're kind of like working at your lunch desk. So remove all of these distractions and really just focus on eating. This brings all of your attention to the meal, and you'll be more likely to acknowledge and notice those really small nuances between your hunger and your satiety levels. You'll also experience the taste and the smell of your food more. Along those lines, the next tip is to eat at the table. Sitting at the table is a great practice, especially since so many of us can get accustomed to eating on our desks or at our desks or on the couch or in our car, but by simply dedicating your table or counter wherever you eat to actually just be for eating, you're using your environment to train your brain and also to recognize that it's time to slow down and it's time to eat a meal. My next tip for you is to make the experience a 10 on your satisfaction scale, 10 being the highest, as much as possible whenever you're eating a meal. So you're going to make, nutrient-dense, nourished meals as much as possible, or you're going to enjoy a sweet dessert. How can you make it as satisfying to you as possible? This works especially well if you previously have tried to avoid certain foods. So instead, I want you to just give yourself permission to enjoy them, but be very intentional about how you enjoy them. Take sweets, for example. One of my members of my membership program often had meetings at work where there were coffees and cupcakes or other sweet things that were always just brought in. Now, trying to be balanced, she would have one of those things, and then she found herself having these things most days of the week versus just like maybe once a week. But after practicing more mindful eating practices that we teach in the program, she realized that this wasn't the most satisfying way to even enjoy those foods in the first place. So instead, she decided to follow this practice of making it a 10. So now she still gives herself full permission to enjoy the sweets, but she's more intentional about it. She wants it to be a fun occasion. So she enjoys her favorite homemade baked goods on the weekend, or when she goes out to eat with her husband or her friends. Rather than just like mindlessly eating a store-bought cookie while working or getting the dessert, it's those little shifts that really can transform your health when you're thinking about that experience of food, making those intentional decisions. Another mindful eating practice is to nourish your body and make more meals tasty by eating a variety of foods. So a simple framework I use is called the Foundational 5, which I'm sure you've heard me talk about this before, but it's my simple system of ensuring that you're nourishing your physical body throughout the day, throughout the week, by eating enough abundance of plant-based, whole foods, and all of your macronutrients. So these 5 elements are protein, non-starchy and starchy carbohydrates, healthy fats, and what I call the flavor factor. Now, when you eat the Foundational 5, also change up the colors, eat the rainbow, eat different textures within each element. This will help ensure that you're getting not only a variety of all these amazing vitamins and minerals, but you're going to learn a little bit more about that enjoyment factor. If you want to learn more about the Foundational 5 framework and how you can use it every single day to improve your eating habits, I'll link my free guide around this video for you to download instantly after you watch this video so that you can apply those framework techniques into your life. Now next, you want to make sure that you're using all of your senses when you experience food. We are meant to experience our food, right? The way that food tastes, how it feels, how it looks and smells, all contribute to the experience of eating and nourishing ourselves. When we engage all of our senses and really experience our food, we're mindful and we're immediately brought into that present moment. So now you understand, while eating perfect or avoiding certain foods isn't necessary to eating healthy, and what you have here are 5 tips that will really support you and learning how to practice balance with your eating habits. So I would love to know what your biggest takeaway is from this video and share your thoughts with me below. And then if you'd like more support, then just download my free guide that's going to guide you in creating healthy eating habits with more tips, more practices just like these. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe for more videos just like this every single week, and also watch my other videos linked here that can really help you create healthy eating habits that work for you 365 days a year. I hope that you have a beautiful day, and remember, health is a daily practice.